Our focus today is going to be single leg takedowns, okay? Single leg takedown, one of the absolute most important attacks for both wrestling and for jiu-jitsu. We're going to see today single leg takedown is a great attack you can do from a standing position, you can do it from a guard position, you can even do it from a pinning situation. So we're going to go through a variety of scenarios. We're going to see ways we can get to single leg opportunities and transitions we can make off of single leg opportunities, okay? So with that out of the way, we're going to start in a standing position today. We're going to look at one of our most important techniques from the feet, sweep single leg takedown. So Savannah and I are here in a good wrestling stance. As I approach my partner, I reach with my back hand, I make a connection. Initially, I'm head to head, I allow my partner to connect to me. Once my partner connects, I can move my head to the shoulder and start moving my partner around. From here, I'm circling, pushing, pulling, etc. Now, when we want to attack a leg with a single leg, we're going to get in the habit of stepping away from it and pulling it toward us. So that if I want Savannah's right leg, I'm going to step away from it, and I'm going to make Savannah take a step onto her right leg. If I want Savannah's left leg, I'll step away, and I'll make her take a step with that left foot. Now, as I draw the leg in, right from here, I'm just going to take an outside step. I'm going to open my elbow, and I'm going to penetrate down to my front knee. Only way to do this, I have to get in the habit of falling forward. As soon as I fall forward to a knee, watch how my back leg back steps, and I move around the corner, just like so. Now, the whole idea with this is to get outside of my partner's hips. The space between Savannah's hips represents her last line of defense. If I can get outside of that line, I've got a pretty good shot at winning the next position. It's not to say that I can't shoot a single leg right in front of my partner, but if my partner goes into a sprawl, I'm going to feel the weight of that sprawl. It's going to give me some problems. If instead I can get outside, if my partner sprawls from this position, it's Savannah that'll be out of position, and I've got a good chance of scoring. So as we connect to our partner, we draw the leg in, we take an outside step. As we penetrate down to a knee, we want to get outside of our partner's hips. We've got a good chance of beating our partner to the next position. Now as Savannah looks to square up to me, I'm already on my way up. I connect hands, and with my head nice and high, I'm in a good single leg position. Now, anytime we expose our partner to a single leg from a standing position, particularly for jiu-jitsu, we have to understand my partner has counters here. She has kimura counters, entrances in the legs, guillotine counters, etc. So whenever I get to a single leg, I want to get in the habit of keeping my partner moving. Okay, as soon as I stop, this helps my partner. So I'm moving my partner around. If I could take a big step forward, now I can expose my partner's ankle. As I expose the ankle, I lift, my front hand slides, and I switch to a nice high Achilles grip. Now from here, I'm just going to do a big uppercut under the knee. I attack high on my partner's calf, and I finish in a leg drag position. Once again, connect to my partner, I bring my head to the shoulder. I draw the leg in, I take an outside step, penetrate to a knee, I swing around the corner. As my partner looks to square up, I'm already looking to step, and I climb up to this position. Big step forward, bring the leg up, and I look to settle down into a leg drag position. Now, as I draw the leg in, if I can time this step, even better. So instead of waiting for my partner to settle and then stepping, as that leg is coming in, I'm already on my way here. Now I come up, and I look for that first finish. As I climb up to my feet, if I feel resistance coming back my way, it's going to be hard now to step and clear the leg. But since all my partner's momentum is going this way, that's where I'm going to take my partner now. So I push, I get a push back. As I feel that push back, I take a step forward with my back leg, I do a 180, and as I do a 180, when I think about dropping my shoulder to my partner's thigh like so, thigh or hip. The whole idea here is to put weight in that second leg. When I go to run the pipe here, if that leg is light, easy for my partner to hop with me. The more weight is in that leg, harder that action will be. So we're here. Partner drives back into me. I'm going to place some weight, I step, and as I do a 180, I'm also thinking about extending the leg. I stay standing, and I land right here. Now from here, we're in a great position. We can think about split squat. We can think about toreando, or we can think about dropping to our knees and forcing half guard. Once again, partner drives back in, step, come here, and now we can look for any of those finishes. just like so. All right? So 2 single leg finishes to get us started. The first, as we connect, we draw the leg in, we step, we penetrate down to our front knee, we swing around the corner. We climb up to our feet. From here, we're able to take a big step forward, lift the leg. Now we uppercut, we'll attack that second leg. If instead, I feel pressure back in from here, now I look to run the pipe. I step, I make a 180, I put some weight in the leg, and I feed. Now I got my partner down and ready to keep attacking. All right, let's give this one a shot. On 2, 1, 2. We're gonna work now from a guard position, starting in a seated guard. So I'm here, I'm seated on my butt. I have shoulders in front of hips, elbows to the inside. As my partner starts to engage me here, first thing I'm gonna do is control my partner's hands. Now from this spot, I'm gonna take an inside reach on my partner's knee. As I get to an inside reach, I'm gonna pull myself closer and I make a nice connection with my shoulder. So I go inside reach, outside reach, and I get, once again, outside of my partner's hips. Now, because of the position of my shoulder here, I'm able to drive my partner's weight forward, take a step with my outside leg, expose my partner's ankle, and get to what's called a backside situation, where now I'm behind my partner, and I'm able to engage this position, what's known as a shelf. The whole idea with a shelf is that we turn our leg into a shelf, we place our partner's leg on top of it. This gives us an opportunity now to switch our grips. Currently, I have a 2-on-1. Watch how I replace my left arm with my right arm, and this gives me the opportunity now to switch off to a double leg. Here with my shoulder underneath my partner's hips, I'm able to drive my partner's weight forward, cover, and now I come up on top. Once again, seated guard, I start by controlling my partner's hands. From here, we take an inside reach, we pull, we throw ourselves around the corner. Now we drive forward, we step, we expose the ankle, and we get to this nice shelved position. From here, if my partner steps a leg up, I either now am going to come off of my knees and drive from here, or I'll get to my partner's ankle, bring her back down to a knee, and then I'll get back to this basic finish. Once again, we tie up our partner's hands. Inside reach, we pull. Get those hands to the mat, we come up to a shelf position. If instead my partner makes her way all the way up to her feet, no problem. We go right back to our first position. We can uppercut the leg and trip. If my partner starts interfering with her hands, I can look to clear, drive my elbow behind the knee, start bringing my partner's hands to the mat. Got a great opportunity not only to switch to a double leg now, but also to start climbing up our partner's back. So from here, we take a grip inside of the hip, we climb, we make our way to a chest lock. We go chest lock. As always, we want to be head over head, keeping weight into our partner's hands. Now from here, we can cross step, step around the corner, break our partner down to a hip. Where from here, it's now safe to go back, head, and arm. And I can think about taking my partner's back, or I can chase the wrist and just ride from this position. Once again, first I control hands. Inside reach, I make my connection, I pull myself around the corner. I step, I get to the ankle, and I shelf the leg. I feel my partner's making her way up to the feet, so I get back to this nice high Achilles grip. If I can uppercut and trip, great. My partner's arms are in the way, I look to clear, get hands to the mat. Now from here, we can start climbing our way to a chest lock. Cross step, step around the corner, and we get height. Once we have height, we can go back, head, and arm, slide in, and throw in hooks. Alternatively, from this position, we can chase the wrist, start breaking our partner down from here. Once more. Seated guard, controlling hands. Inside reach, connect, backside. My partner stays down here. We'll switch off to our double. My partner climbs to the feet instead. We follow her up. As she turns to face us, we're right back here looking for one of those finishes. All right, let's give it a shot. On 2, 1, 2. All right, we looked at this from a seated position. We're gonna move to supine now. So out of the same situation, maybe my partner engages me here, I take an inside reach, but this time instead of chasing single leg, I'm gonna use the inside reach for the purpose of pulling to supine, and we'll lock up a De La Riva. From this De La Riva situation, we're just gonna push anywhere from our partner's hip to our partner's knee. Now, a tip on this, generally, the higher toward the hip, more effective will be because it's harder for my partner to step over, but depending on your leg length, you might be a little extended here, so anywhere from the hip to the knee is generally going to be pretty good. Now, I extend my partner. I use this to take my back off the floor. As I take my back off the floor, I swing my legs around the corner, and I come up to this position. Now, unlike the previous technique, we have the benefit of momentum now. And because we have that momentum, we may well extend up, take a big step forward, and get right to our feet from here. And now we're back to our first finish or our second finish, okay? So once again, inside reach, De La Hiva. From De La Hiva, we sit up, we throw our legs to the side, we post with our head high. Now from here, we push off this hand, we take a step forward with our outside leg, expose the ankle, and we come up, and now we look for a finish from here. If instead, as I sit up, I feel my partner's momentum coming back into me, no problem. I pull myself back around the corner, and we just get right back to this backside situation. And now we've got our double, our partner climbs up, we'll follow to the feet, okay? So once again, we start by tying up the hands. Inside reach, De La Hiva. From De La Hiva, we sit up. This time we feel some momentum coming back. No problem. As our partner drives into us, we just pull around the corner, we come up, and ready to chase a takedown, okay? As a third example, I start with the hands, inside reach, De La Hiva. Another great option my partner has is to step over my leg. As my partner steps over, I disengage a hook, I pull my partner forward, I once again come up backside. Now as my partner looks to stand, we follow her up, and then we're right back to all these options. Once more, partner steps over, we drive our partner's weight forward, swing around the corner, our partner turns to face us, and now we're back here. All right? All right, so moving right along, we're gonna move to a half guard position now. So this time my partner's down on 2 knees, and I can start in a conventional low knee shield half guard, okay? Now this is a classic wrestle up position, particularly in MMA. This is it's kind of an older school game, but it's really a fundamental game where I use a high knee shield and I sit up to an underhook. Once you get to an underhook, what's so great about this position is not only can you use it for the purpose of actually completing a takedown, but particularly for MMA, you can use it for the purpose of just climbing up to your feet. And that's what makes it such an important technique. This all changes when my partner advances to a split squat. As soon as this happens and my partner's knee is free, chasing a tight waist becomes a bad idea, okay? 2 main vulnerabilities here. 1, my partner could backstep into my legs, start exposing me to cross Ashi Garami. No good. The second, my partner could take her right knee across, slide over to mount. Not just mount, but because I had a tight waist, this arm is extended, and I'm in a pretty bad way here. So we're going to talk about this rule a couple times today, but this is my knee on the mat rule. If I have control of my partner's knee from any sort of guard situation, it's safe to build up to a tight waist. My partner looks to slide the knee across, can't do it from this position. But as soon as I lose a hold of my partner's knee and she advances to a split squat, I no longer think about tight waist. I always think about switching to a single leg. Now from here, I can just bump my partner's weight forward. I can get back to backside, and I get back to the finishes we spoke about, okay? So from a half guard situation, I see that my partner advances to a split squat. That's my cue. I no longer want to think about tight waist. I want to think about single leg. So as soon as I realize my partner's knee is no longer in my control, I take my own knee, I bring it behind my partner's hamstring. I just bump my partner's weight forward, and I expose that hamstring to a grip. Now I scissor my legs. I fight up to this backside situation once again. As I shelf, if my partner looks to stand, no problem. We'll follow her up, and we're right back to our earlier finishes. Once again, from a half guard situation, my partner advances to a split squat. As soon as I feel this, my knee comes behind the hamstring. I drive my partner's weight forward. I expose my partner into a single leg grip. From here, as I scissor my legs, I'm going to take my right elbow tight to my own hip. So I'm able to get to this position. Now I drive my partner's weight forward and I shelf. My partner advances to her feet. No problem. Take a nice high Achilles grip. And now we look to return our partner to the mat. We're going to start now in a mounted position. So this time my partner has full mount. Now, like always, we want to first think about protecting our elbows by crossing our arms, bringing elbows tight to the body. From here, I can think about taking a knee behind my partner's hips and start driving my partner's weight into her hands. Now I'm going to establish a cross hip post with my right hand at my partner's right hip, my right elbow at my partner's left hip. My second elbow is going to fight to the inside position. I'm just going to lock hand over hand. As I get hand over hand, I'm going to turn on my side. I'm going to look to kick my leg straight, and I'm going to look to pummel my left knee inside of my partner's ankle. This allows me to take my second leg, find an ankle trap, and start advancing toward an elbow escape. Now for the purpose of Jiu-Jitsu, we can get back here, we can get to our underhook half, find a knee shield, we get back to butterfly half, high knee shield, all this good stuff, and just play conventional Jiu-Jitsu game. But again, particularly for MMA grappling, we don't want to get in the habit of being on our back. We're always trying to get up to our feet or get on top. Once again, I get weight with my partner's hands. I establish my frames, ankle trap, half guard chest to chest. Right from here, I don't delay. I just drive my partner's weight forward, come up on the single, and I'm ready to get to my finishes. A couple more times. A full mount situation. Driving weight into our partner's hands. We work toward a conventional elbow escape. From here, we just pull up, find that single leg. Once more. Full mount. Driving weight down here. I work for inside position. Go ahead, keep weight in the knee. I get to my ankle trap. Underhook half guard. Driving my partner's weight forward. I aggressively wrestle up, and I'm right back to my single leg game. So out of all the techniques I teach today, this is going to be the most important one. Single leg versus side control. So I'm down here, bottom cross side position, but I do have my frames. As always, I'm trying to stay tight, monitoring my partner's hip. I don't want to give up an easy mount. Maybe I was looking for elbow escapes, or again, we're in an MMA context where I don't want to get back to guard. I don't want to get back to guard and be punched in the face. I want to get back to my feet. So I need two things to win this position. One, I need to beat my partner's crossface. Two, I need to beat my partner's underhook. I always try to beat the crossface first. If I get to a situation where I win the underhook, but I don't beat the crossface, I go to turn in, it's going to feel like I'm driving into a brick wall. Okay? If instead I start by bridging and getting my head under the chest, now I've got a good chance as I win my underhook to tuck my elbow and come up to a nice single leg situation. So with that in mind, from this spot, we have our frames. We're playing a nice tight game. Our first task is to get our head under the chest. So as we bridge, we want to think about taking our partner's weight closer to our head and sliding our own body downward toward here. I keep my frame strong, and I get inside hand position. Even as I get inside hand position, my partner goes to crush me. My elbow is high, and it serves as a frame. From this position, I take, as I start extending my arm forward, my right elbow is going to come tight to my hip. I scissor my legs, and I fight up to a nice single leg position. Now, here's a tip when you go to fight up here. I would definitely not say it's wrong to fight up to your knees here. Okay? There are so many options once you get to this spot. And against a tough wrestler, a lot of times they're going to force you into this spot anyway. They're going to force you on your knees. No problem. However, you can gain momentum by skipping that and going right up to your toes. So I bridge, I get my head under. Underhook, elbow, I come right up to my toes, and I cruise around the corner. I get weight into my partner's hands, I expose the ankle, I go right back to my shelf. From here, I can change off to my double and take top position. So once again, down here, bottom side control. I'm stuck in this position. Remember, you have to beat the crossface first, or at least it'll benefit you to beat the crossface first. So as I'm stuck here, Savannah's trying to hold me down. I just work to get my head to this position. Give me some resistance. I just look to start getting myself underneath. Now I pummel for my underhook, and as I bring my elbow tight to my hip and I scissor my legs, I come right up to my toes, and I look to take my elbow behind my partner's ankle as I grab my partner's knee. So as Savannah goes to square up to me now, she can't because my elbow blocks my partner's ankle. That gives me a moment to place my knee behind the ankle and even drag it out further. Now my partner tries to turn and face me, it's just not going to happen. Now I drive weight into my partner's hands, I expose the ankle, I shelf, and I'm ready to keep attacking from this spot. Okay? Back to side control. We get ourselves underneath first. If I ever get to a spot where I have an underhook, well, my partner has a crossface, I go to turn in, I realize I'm stuck. Now I have to do those bridges from here. My advice, I like to use kipping motions here. Savannah tries to keep me stuck. Kip, 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 kip. I just take myself lower, right up to this spot, and now we're back to wrestling. So whenever I'm in side control, I never go high underhook. No reason my partner can't slide over. Go ahead. And now I'm mounted, my elbow's away from my hip. Terrible spot for me. If, however, I chase a single leg, Savannah goes to mount me, I'll always be able to return the knee to the mat and get back to a backside situation. So once again, bottom side control, I start by bridging, getting myself underneath. From here, as I chase a single, even if Savannah looks to mount, I'll always be able to drive the knee back to the mat and keep my attack going. My partner's back in side control. This time from here, my partner advances knee on stomach. So my partner gets a knee to the stomach, second knee off the mat, my partner's just balancing from this position. Remember, not only is this a position that can, force mistakes from here, as I start, clearing the knee, maybe my partner finds an underhook, things like this. Not only this can be a good attacking position, but it's also a scoring position. So I can't afford to hang out here. If I'm here for 3 seconds, I'm going to give up 2 points. Okay? So let's go back. Initially, we're here framing shoulders and hips. As soon as I feel my partner advance the knee on stomach, I'm going to switch my frames to my partner's knee, but I'm keeping my elbows closed. Now, I'm going to reposition my hips so that my inside knee once again finds my partner's hip. From here, I bump weight into my partner's hand. Now, right from this spot, I'm just taking outside reach, elbow deep grip. As I get to this grip, I'm going to use this to scrape my partner's knee to the floor. My inside hand at this point can even grab the ankle. In most cases, I don't recommend grabbing the ankle or locking hands here. I'd prefer to have my elbow underneath me. But in this particular case, just the nature of the setup, I feel I can do this pretty well. So I get to the ankle while still maintaining my elbow underneath me. Now from here, as I scissor my legs, I just bump forward and I get right back to this shelf position. So again, my partner's here, side control, does a good job advancing to knee on stomach. I switch my frames, I bump, I scrape, I get once again to my single leg shelf, and now I pursue my finish. A couple more times. Side control, my partner advances here to this position. I frame, I bump, scrape, and now we're back to wrestling. Once more. Side control, knee on stomach. I frame here, never here. Elbows tight to the body. I find the hips, I bump forward. Now I come out backside, and I'm once again chasing my single leg. All right? We're going to move now to another really important topic. We're going to look at finishes on the mat. So far, we've basically focused on standing finishes and backside finishes. We're going to look at some multiple finishes we can do now from a front side situation. First situation, I'm here in front of my partner. Maybe I'm a bit alongside my partner, as is ideally the case. Now, first we'll talk about locked hands versus unlocked hands. Sometimes we're going to have locked hands on the single. Oftentimes we're not. Okay? In general, the closer I can get to my opponent, the more I can get my hips underneath me, more likely I'm going to lock hands. So a position like this, my partner goes to sprawl, it's going to be pretty tough. And now, I'm knee walking, I'm doing all these things, I'm advancing that elbow, and, from here I've got a good chance to finish my single leg, okay? If, however, I feel I'm about to get extended, so I feel a heavy sprawl from here, I'm always going to unlock hands and keep an elbow on the floor, okay? What I don't want is my partner gives me a heavy sprawl, and I get extended like this. Now my partner kicks that leg free, and now she's probably going to win the next position. Maybe she hits a go behind, something like this, and as I climb up, now my partner's behind me, okay? No good. So as I feel the weight of that sprawl, I'm going to capture, go ahead, high on my partner's shin, and I'm once again going to try to flare my partner's ankle outside of her knee. What I don't want is Savannah's ankle behind her. Now she kicks strong, and I potentially lose the leg.
as long as I flare the ankle out to some degree, my partner goes to get that leg back, it's going to be much more difficult from this position. Savannah will tell you there's tension in the knee here, so you're going to feel like you don't want to kick that leg back too explosively. And as my partner tries to get the ankle back behind her, it's just going to be really difficult from here. Okay? So, assuming we have unlocked hands, let's say we want to get back to that backside. So the first way we've been looking at doing this is effectively driving in and trying to advance to a grip on our partner's knee with our elbow behind the ankle. If we can achieve this, not too difficult now, to start stepping around the corner, blocking our partner's ankle, dragging it out, and shelfing. Another great method is we can take this hand to the floor and we go hand over hand. In this one, I don't have like a direct grip. I just post left hand down, right hand down. I do a bit of a push up here, and now I run around the corner. So if we're back to that spot, locked hands, I pull in, and I go hand over hand. Now I take my back high, I put some good pressure. Now I can find the knee, and I get back to this shelf position. All right, let's look at that again. From a locked hand situation, I pull my partner in. Now I go hand over hand, heavy shoulder pressure, and I capture this shelf position. Another way we can do this, it's a less conventional method. This would be less appropriate in the sport of wrestling, but I think is plenty appropriate for jiu-jitsu. We can expose a hip to the mat. So on this one, I flare the ankle out. I feel the weight of my partner sprawl. Often from here, especially against a heavy sprawl, what I'll look to do is I'll step my outside leg up and I'll slide knee to knee. From here, it's not terribly difficult to step over, reap the ankle. Now as I make my way up to my knee, I once again convert to backside, and I'm back to winning the next position. So I'm here, my partner sprawls. I'm here, I capture the shin with unlocked hands. I step my outside leg up, I slide knee to knee. I step over, I capture. Now I get behind, I shelf, I attack from here. So backside is generally the first thing we're looking to do. Huge advantage if you can get behind somebody. So that's generally our first attack. Now, the more I threaten, go ahead, give me a heavy sprawl. I'm here high on the shin. The more I threaten to get behind my partner, more likely she'll circle with me. As I feel that now, I'm just gonna take my head across to the far hip and build some height. From here, I step my outside leg up and I'm gonna do a knee slide. As I knee slide, I pivot around the corner, I hit a cutback, I change off to my double, and I drive my partner's knees away from me. So we look at that again. We're here. I go one way, my partner circles with me, head comes across. I step, I build some height. I want my head all the way to the far hip. Now I knee slide past my partner. I drive with my head. Now I change off to my double. I can shelf the legs from a double position, and I get my finish here. Same thing if I start by trying to step around the corner. Maybe from here my partner goes to circle. Once again, drive my head across. And now I convert to a cutback finish. Once again, my partner sprawls, we capture the shin. Trying to step around the corner, this fails, I bring my head to the other side. Knee slide, change off, and I get my score. Lastly, if your partner stuffs your head and squares up, we're gonna get opportunities to take our head between our partner's two legs. In these situations, we want to think about sitting all our weight back, getting our partner's hands to the floor. Here like so. Now, I have my free hand post, I have my single leg grip. My free hand is just going to post on the knee. As I lift, my other arm pulls across, and I get right back to the same double leg position. Heavy sprawl, we're here. My partner stuffs the head, we throw our head inside. I don't focus on lifting, I focus on taking my weight back. Now we post, pull, shelf, and we take our partner over, okay? So 3 finishes from this spot. I start with locked hands. If I can pull my partner in, great. We can convert backside or any of the finishes we spoke about. Very often from here, my partner will sprawl, and I'll have to unlock hands so that I have a post and I don't get extended. My partner goes to work from here. As long as I have this post arm, I feel really strong in this position. 3 finishes. The first, if I'm able to step behind, Now I block the ankle, drag it out, lift, and shelf from a nice backside situation. As I try to do this, my partner circles with me. Now my head comes across to the far side. Knee slide, cut back, change off to that double. We get our finish. Finally, under the weight of our partner's sprawl, we feel our partner stuffing our head. We take our head in the hole, sit our weight back. We lift, pull, we shelf, we change off to a nice double leg finish. So let's go back to this position. My partner, we're front side situation. I get to the leg. We'll say we start with locked hands, just as an example. We're gonna look now at one of our most important transitions, transitioning from a failed single leg into a half guard. So from here, maybe we have locked hands. My partner gives a heavy sprawl. I capture the shin, and I have an elbow post underneath me, doing my best to keep my head up. I'm looking to wrestle from this position, but my partner sprawls even harder, and I just feel like, man, you'll know sometimes you go to shoot on people, and you're like, not today. Okay? So we're gonna use this to recover. We're gonna start very similar to what we did last time, where I step my outside leg up, and I once again slide knee to knee. Now, we're gonna look at two ways we can recover from here. The first way, I feel my partner sprawling. Go ahead, give me a heavy sprawl. Notice when Savannah puts more weight in me, this right knee actually comes off the mat a little bit. That allows a little space to where I can slide my inside leg in, capture my partner in half guard. Now that I have half guard, I have control of the knee. It's now safe to switch to a tight waist and take a bicep tie. From this spot, not too difficult to win this knee shield. And now I just recover to a conventional half guard position like so. Once again, single leg situation, my partner sprawls heavy. I step my outside leg up. I slide, I just give a little lift, and I capture my partner's ankle. Now from here we can go tight waist, we sit our weight back, bicep tie to stop that cross face. Now once we can punch that knee in, we can cross ankles, cross shoulder posts. We're just in a conventional knee shield half guard. There's a second way of doing this that's a little more aggressive. From locked hands, my partner sprawls. I release locked hands, I keep an elbow post. I step my outside leg up and I slide once again, knee to knee. Maybe this time, either I'm having trouble lifting the knee or I want a more aggressive attack, okay? Particularly as I feel my partner's weight driving in, I'm gonna try to use it against her. So this time, I'm gonna step my outside leg first and I'm gonna reap the ankle so that once again, my partner cannot take that ankle behind her. Now from here, I can switch to a tight waist, and I drive my partner's weight forward with tight waist, bicep tie, and you'll notice I have the knee behind the hamstring again. As I expose my shoulder to the mat, I drive my partner forward, I switch my grip, and I re-attack with another single leg. Locked hands, my partner gives me a heavy sprawl, I capture the high shin, I flare the ankle outside the knee. From here, I step my outside leg up. I slide knee to knee. I throw my outside leg in, and I take a Kosoto hook. Right from this spot, I can go tight waist, and I could pull my partner's weight over me. As I pull the weight over me, my outside knee is gonna bump the hamstring and pull that leg in. Now, I'm able to switch my grip. I'm able to retract my right elbow, scissor the legs, and fight right back up to a nice wrestling position. All right? So this is very important, like I said, when we start from inferior positions where it's going to be hard to win the wrestling scramble. If, for example, I start on the feet, I start from sit-up guard, something like this, good chance I'll be able to build some momentum and get up to my feet. In the case of side control, by contrast, it's going to be harder to go from bottom side control to a dominant position, right? So from here, I get my head underhook, I come here, under the expectation my partner should be able to sprawl. But even as she sprawls now, I drive in and I can think about capturing one of those half guard positions, and I was in bottom side control, now I'm in half guard ready to do some work. Once again, from bottom side control, I'm interested in single leg, not necessarily because I think it's always going to get me 2 points, but because I don't want to be in bottom side control, so I can use it as a pin escape in a guard recovery. So, head underneath, underhook, elbow. I come up here, my partner goes heavy sprawl, and I'm here. I'm looking for that cut back, I'm looking to go backside, but my partner's just too strong here. No problem, outside leg, knee to knee, we're ready to capture half guard. Once again, we could take an outside hook. We could even drive our partner's weight forward, and we'll have a second shot at this single leg from a slightly better position, half guard as opposed to bottom side. Once more. Version 1. Heavy sprawl. Here. Version 2.
We're going to go from fouled single leg situation now into a variety of Ashi Garamis. We'll start, some pretty common sense examples, and we'll get a little more dynamic.
So we're here, locked hands on the single. My partner gives me a hard sprawl. I capture the high shin, and I'm here like so. Once again, I'm going to step my outside leg up, and I'm going to slide knee to knee. Difference this time, instead of stepping over, I'm going to step under to a shin-to-shin position. From this shin to shin, I'm going to take my free hand, I'm going to post on my partner's knee so I can keep some space. I'm going to use the tension of my grip high on the shin combined with my own shoelace grip and my knee blocking my partner's knee to create something of a ramp effect. From here, I just pull my partner's weight forward, elevate the leg, and I shoot to a nice Ashi Garami position. From here, if we can reap across and expose our partner's heel, we can lock hands, force our partner to a defensive roll, and now we can start switching to outside Ashi Garami and pursuing outside heel hooks. From this same situation, outside leg up, we slide knee to knee, shoelace grip, we pull to Ashi. If instead my partner squares up to me, goes to clear and starts coming forward, we're just going to go reverse X, cross lat, get a nice elevation. We capture our partner, cross Ashi Garami. So those two once again. My partner gives me a heavy sprawl. I step my outside leg up, I slide knee to knee, shin to shin. From here I post, elevate, and I put my partner in this Arimi Ashi Garami. Now from here I can reap across, expose the heel. As my partner goes into a defensive roll, I can lock hands, switch to my outside Ashi Garami, and now from here, strong back heel, and get to my finish. If instead, as I advance to this position, my partner squares up, looks to split the legs. I'll switch to a reverse X, cross lat. I'm going to pull my partner's weight forward into her hands, give a nice elevation, capture my partner's knee for a nice cross Ashi Garami. Now some more dynamic entries. From this same situation, if I'm able to punch my elbow behind before my partner goes into an effective sprawl and convert to a backside situation. Now I once again take a shelf position. This time, I'm going to take a deep Achilles grip. I'm going to switch my hand over the top. Couple different ways we can enter cross Ashi from here. First, the more dynamic of the two. I keep height. I'm just going to step a leg over, and I reap through. Now I expose my left shoulder to the mat, force a forward roll. Now we're here inside Senkaku, inside heel hook, and we can pursue our submission. Slightly less dynamic way we can do the same technique. As we get behind and shelf, take a nice deep Achilles grip. Maybe it's a little intimidating to climb up to our feet. So as we throw the second leg in, this time, we just take a butterfly hook and we come right here. Now we throw that second leg in, we roll through, once again expose the heel, and we're here inside heel hook. From situations like supine, maybe my partner's standing, I tie up the hands, inside reach, de la hiva. Great thing about single legs, one great thing about single legs, because you have a leg grab, you always have an Ashi Garami. Anytime you have a single leg, there's an Ashi Garami to be had. Anytime you're an Ashi Garami, you should be able to find a single leg. So out of a de la hiva situation, I sit up, into this sit-up guard, I'm thinking single. At any point from here, I can sit my weight back, go wrist deep, and start to expose my partner to a false reap. Now from here, I lock palm to palm, and I start pulling the knee in. If from here, I can back step and free my bottom leg. Now we just convert underneath, and now we're here, cross Ashi, inside heel hook. Once again. De la hiva, sit-up guard. From here, I just sit back, I go wrist deep. I throw in that false reap, I make a connection. palm to palm. I give a nice pull. I free my bottom leg. As I free it, I take my head underneath and I roll through. Now I expose my partner's heel, inside heel hook. Alternatively, from that same situation, I sit up here, false sweep, I lock hands. Maybe I can't free that bottom leg. I'm having trouble. From here, I just back heel and I invert first. Now I'll pummel my legs free, right back to our inside heel hook. Once again. Here, can't free that leg, back heel, invert, that will pummel, and now we're here, inside heel hook, okay? And lastly, like we said, anytime we have an Ashi Garami, we could always switch to X, get weight into our partner's hands. Now as we fight up, we're gonna have all sorts of opportunities to chase single leg situations, okay? So the same way that we can go from a failed single leg into Ashi Garami, okay? Maybe this is not the best example. We can go from any sort of failed Ashi Garami attack to X. We can start to extend, and now multitude of ways we can come up on single legs, okay? So our final technique for today, just transitioning from single leg to Ashi Garami. I'll show the more fundamental example once or twice more. Single leg situation, my partner gives me a heavy sprawl, I capture the high shin. Outside leg steps up, knee to knee, shin to shin. From here I block the far knee, I give a nice pull, Ashi Garami. Once more. Single leg situation, my partner sprawls. Outside leg up, knee to knee, shin to shin. Block my partner's knee, expose her to Ashi Garami, and now I'm ready to attack some legs. So just a brief recap. We started on the feet, we came out and made a connection, we looked at the idea of a nice sweep single leg attack, either for the purpose of a back trip or running the pipe and dumping our partner to the mat. From there, we looked at seated guard attacks, where we started with the idea of tying up our partner's hands, exposing her to an inside reach, pulling ourselves in and moving around the corner. From here, we're able to get backside, shelf the leg, and start moving into attacks from here. From supine positions too, we saw we can use an inside reach to use guards like De La Hiva. Now we can sit up, start coming forward, and once again, pursuing single leg. From half guard two, we saw that the conventional approach to this position is to sit up on the tight waist. But if your partner moves to a split squat, it's not necessarily the appropriate thing to do. Better attack now is to bump your partner's hips forward, expose them to a single leg. Okay? From pinning situations as well, such as mount, we can pursue single leg off of escapes. So from here, we get weight into our partner's hands. We move into an elbow escape. And as we covered a underhook half guard, no reason we can't just bump our partner forward from here. And once again, start attacking. Even in rear mount, my partner has two hooks in. I can fall to the underhook side, start scraping my partner off. If she looks to mount, we go ankle trap, we bump forward, and within an instant, we're already halfway to a single leg, okay? From side control 2, we saw not only can we do single leg, but it's important that we choose single leg instead of a high underhook. If from here we get our head underneath and pursue a high underhook, no reason our partner can't slide over to mount. Big mistake on our part. We don't have control over the knee in this situation with our legs, so we need to control the knee with our arms. So we get our head underneath, underhook. Now, at the last moment, our elbow comes to our hip, and we start chasing single leg from here. If from any side pin, my partner converts to knee on stomach, no problem. I just bump my partner's weight forward, I scrape the knee off, and I once again start looking for singles from here. As I'm chasing any single leg situation, unable to get backside, we saw a variety of finishes. As our partner goes into a heavy sprawl, we've seen from here, if we fail to go backside, but we're able to build height and get our head across, we can hit a nice cutback, change off to a double, and shelf from this position. If instead, our partner stuffs our head, we can throw our head in that hole, sit our partner's weight back, and now
once again find ourselves in this familiar spot.
Under the weight of that sprawl, I feel these options are going to be difficult. I take an outside step, I slide knee to knee. From here, I can think about capturing my partner's knee and just converting to basic half guards. Or I can take an outside reap, pull my partner in, and once again, expose my partner to single legs. And then lastly, we saw out of these fouled situations, under the weight of our partner's sprawl, we can always transition to Ashi Garami by once again stepping the outside leg up, sliding knee to knee, and shin to shin. From here, the whole thing is to post on the far leg and pull your partner's leg over your hip. As you do that, we punch in the inside, expose our partner to Ashi Garami. All right, so we should all have an excellent single leg system with which to work now, and it should really benefit everybody's game. Thanks for being here, everybody. I appreciate it.